Hi, I'm Jimmy Colefax, and this is The Story. We're continuing with award-winning Christian photographer Ramon Williams, reflecting over his incredible life journey. Amazingly, he has done all of his photography work for the Lord by faith. That is, trusting that the Lord would provide for all of his family's needs.
So this raises the question, you're doing this wonderful work, but how did you, in practical terms, survive? How did you pay the rent, etc.?
I don't look as if I've starved, put it that way.
Okay.
But certainly we've had our challenges. The whole thing started, Major Len Moles gave a talk at a Christian convention in Sydney. And he said, you say you're committed to the Lord. How committed are you? Why don't you empty everything out of your pockets and put it into the missionary giving, which I did. And then a friend came up and said, look, you've got a car. Could you drive me up to Nora Head, I think it was, tomorrow Sunday for a outdoor Sunday school? I said, oh, yeah, I can do that. So on the way up there was the Hawkesbury Bridge, which in those days used to have a toll. And as I was coming down to the bridge, it seemed as if on one shoulder someone saying, why don't you give a little hint that you don't have any money and the toll's coming up? And on the other shoulder was a little thought of, trust me, trust me. And as we got down onto the Hawkesbury Bridge, there's a rise in the middle. So as I went over the rise, there were no toll gates. And I mentioned to the friend who'd asked me to come with him, where are the toll gates? He said, oh, they took them off last week. That was my first experience of living by faith. Another one was a Christmas Day after we'd come home from Indonesia. And some nurses phoned up and said, look, can we come down for Christmas Day? I said, yes, I'll come and pick you up from the hospital and bring you to the house. What I didn't tell them was we had no food in the house. Not a thing. And that night, 10 o'clock, a knock on the door and someone with a cardboard box, and they said, look, we've decided to go on holidays. Could you use this chicken and ice cream and treats and things? I said, oh, I suppose we could, but thank you very much for them anyway. So we were able to feed them Christmas lunch.
Wow. So you've been living by faith, doing what you know the Lord has led you to do, and trusting that he would provide for you.
Yes, exactly. 60 years we've been doing it.
And 60 years, other than a few close calls, you've had plenty to eat.
We've seen the Lord provide. We've seen periods where you question, why haven't you supplied? And then suddenly there's a change in events that shows the Lord still is in control. He promised, my God shall supply all your needs. And it may not be what I want, but it's what I need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've talked about you're going to different tragedies, weather-related, like cyclones, and then also covering religious events like crusades of Billy Graham and also the gathering in Canberra. What other type of things did you photograph?
Every royal visit to St Andrew's Cathedral since 1973, I have photographed the arrival of Her Majesty, Princess Diana, William and Kate, for the cathedral and for the Anglican Church. And it was a case of reporting here, this is what happened, the royal family went to church. And Princess Diana, I've got an exclusive of her. She was visiting a children's home in Sydney, and she had word that my husband was a bit late getting back to the airport, so would she like to go to the airport to wait or stay with the children? She said, oh, I'll stay here with the children. So all the other media pack, they got on their bus and they went to the airport. One other photographer and myself, we stayed behind. And as Princess Diana came out into the sandpit with the children and the authorities, a little girl put her arms up and Princess Diana picked her up and put her on her shoulder. They've now got a poster-sized photo, a copy of that photo.
Oh, wow.
It was a beautiful one. A little girl with her head resting down on Princess Diana's shoulder.
Well, once again, being in the right place at the right time.
That sums it up beautifully.
Yeah. But as we said earlier, these photographic moments don't come looking for you. You have to go find them. You have to be aggressive.
Yeah. Be ready. Have that camera ready.
Okay, some other notable people who you photographed. I understand people in the entertainment industry like Pat Boone and others, Keith Green, Andre Crouch. Can you tell us about some of those?
With them, they were guests from overseas, and although I'm not into music, I am into photography.
Mm-hmm.
So I photographed Cliff Richard quite a few times and spoke to him. Colin Buchanan, when he first started out, I asked him, did he want to be another Cliff Richard? He said, oh, no. He said, I'm Australian. I've got my own way of doing things. So Colin Buchanan has gone on to great things too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some of the others there, I photographed them and made sure that they had photos they could take away with them, such as the Opera House in the background and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And both colour and black and white. Now, of course, when these famous people pass away, I've got the photos to give a tribute to them.
Okay, well, you have certainly had an eventful life. Let's kind of step back and look at the overall story of your life. What are some of the lessons that people can learn from all of your experiences being a Christian photographer? I
would say that it's a case of be sensitive. Be sensitive to situation, be sensitive to other people needing attention, and don't get in the way. Step back, let other people carry on with their activities and so forth. But at the same time, look for that expression, look for that sign, look for that angle, maybe a low angle, maybe a high angle, that's going to be the best layout for the photo. Be sensitive and be courteous.
And then also spiritually, do you feel that the Lord has led you in every step of the way in your career?
There's no doubt about that. Looking back, even as I've been speaking to you, I've been aware of how the Lord has certainly led all those different steps. There have been the break-in, there's been the stealing of cameras out of camera cases, there's been the replacements come from unexpected sources. When we were coming home from Indonesia, all of our fares and so forth, they were all paid by other Indonesians or by missionaries. Not a cent came from Australia.
Oh, wow.
We were told that, okay, you're coming home, you've got triplets, you've got 12 bags, I think it was. There's your life savings. And you're coming home in 3 days. We don't have any fares towards your air tickets. And just then one of the American hospital folk came in, said, look, you've been passing a whole sack of stuff on to me. I'd like to pay for it. How much do I owe you? I said, $10. He said, I thought you'd say that. So here's the check I've already made out for $100. He said, by the way, how's your air ticket going? I said, well, before you handed that, I needed $100.
Oh, wow.
Now we've got our tickets and we can go home.
Wow, $100 for tickets. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But as you've been saying, the Lord has supplied all your needs, and not all your wants, but all your needs over the years. And any final comments reflecting back on your life story?
It is interesting. I won't say tough. It's interesting to see how the Lord provides. And he does provide. But I would not convince anyone else to step out in faith. Make sure it's what the Lord wants you to do. If he has called you to do something, it may be simply go and mow somebody's lawn for them. Even that can be done as under the Lord. You don't have to be financially giving all the time. Whatever the Lord wants, do it.
And I forgot to mention that you've received several awards. Can you briefly share with us about some of those?
Well, in 1987, I was given the Gutenberg Award by the religious media. First time it had been given to an individual instead of a publication. And I think it was 2013, there was a citation given to me for services to the media. Fred Nile and his Citizens Worthy of Awards. He gave me the Media Award at one time. During the 2000 Olympics, I received an award from, I think it was More Than Gold for services rendered, etc., etc. And I was even made aware this year that I was nominated for Australian of the Year.
Oh, wow. And it sounds like you enjoyed all this as well. I mean, that's kind of a bonus.
It's all unexpected, and I give the Lord all the glory, believe me.
Fantastic. Ramon Williams, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, that was the conclusion of our two-part conversation with award-winning Christian photographer Ramon Williams. And once again, what an eventful life he has had. I love the one-sentence description of his photography ministry that he shared earlier, telling others what others are doing for the Lord. So simple, but yet so profound. And I don't know about you, but I love to hear what others are doing for the Lord and learning how the Lord is working in people's lives. Well, if you want to learn more about Ramon's life journey and perhaps see some of his photos, I'm happy to report that a documentary is being made. You can get more information on that on a special Facebook page that has been created. Just look up Ramon Williams, A Look Through the Lens. Once again, just look up Facebook page Ramon Williams, A Look Through the Lens. Well, thanks for joining us once again for Ramon's life journey. Until next time, I'm Jimmy Colefax, encouraging you to share your story with someone today.
Next time on The Story.
In February 2012, Orand was diagnosed with stage 4 with colon cancer, which had metastasized to his liver and his lungs. So that was a huge shock for us. It's not something we ever thought we'd ever have to deal with or ever have in our lives. And the biggest shock to us was that the doctors actually said he had had it for about 5 years already.
Angela Engelbrecht is originally from the UK and married her husband in South Africa. She was interviewed by Karen Hunt shortly after they moved to Australia for treatment for her husband's cancer. We'll hear Angela's challenging journey next time.
The Story. Just another way Vision is connecting faith to life.